Greetings and welcome to the very first episode of Mz.Rootz online education service. This episode will consist of a series of questions and answers. Questions and answers that I hope you connect with and utilize as a service. So here we go. Feel free, and I encourage you to ask more questions in the comments area below, or contact me directly on my social media platforms. Again, details are documented below. I am totally conscious that YouTube offers only a one-to-many type communication opportunity, but as I say, through the social media platforms and my email and the comments below, this can be a two-way process, which I feel is vital. I do not believe that anybody knows everything, and the only way that progress can be made is through dialogue. There is no way I can know what you want without a conversation, so I strongly encourage communication. I am Melissa Louis Francis, aka Mz.Rootz. And before I begin to build the content of this channel, I felt it necessary that you should know a little bit more about me, who I am, my aims and my intentions. So almost like a virtual interview. Consider this your opportunity to find out more about me as an educator. Am I the type of person, the type of teacher, the type of educator that you would like to be put in front of your children? Somebody that delivers sessions to the youth, and even somebody that you want to spend time with and consider, the type of person that can help you on your journey. So that's what this is all about today. I look forward to receiving your comments. Why do I call myself Mz.Rootz? Okay, let's break it down. So Ms, because I'm actually a qualified college lecturer. So instead of Miss, I'll call myself Ms. I'll explain the Z in a minute. Roots, because I have never forgotten where I've come from. I have embraced my journey and the journey of my ancestors. I just love the word roots. I think it's powerful. It represents foundation, strength, growth, and all of these aspects I embed in my learning style. So let's go back to why I've put the Z instead of the S on both of these words. Well, firstly, I think it's kind of cool. The Z looks kind of cool, but also actually the Z was there before the S, so actually the Z is an Asian S. It was there first, so it kind of complements the whole notion of me representing roots, the beginning. My professional background. Okay, so this is a little bit awkward because it's always difficult when you got to talk about yourself, but I feel like it's necessary for this occasion. As I say, I want to know whether I qualify to be put in front of your young people and yourself. So here's my credentials. I have spent over 15 years in education. I've worked across provision, mainly post 14. So I've worked in colleges, schools, alternative provisions, PRUs, which are pupil referral units. I've worked with special educational needs, prisons, and I've worked around the world, including the Middle East, Saudi Arabia and Jamaica. So I've had quite a wide ranging experience of education settings and the types of students. I find I am more drawn towards students who are not of mainstream, and in fact I only spent 3 years in mainstream. I just couldn't cope with the politics, I couldn't conform, and I was better placed in pupil referral units or prisons where you have your more hard to reach learners. I strongly connect with this type of learner. I have a teaching certificate. I also have a Bachelor of Honours in Post-Compulsory Education. I am in the process of finishing my master's degree. I'm actually at dissertation stage, so this is my last semester in September coming. And I have aspirations to go straight on to do a PhD. I will explain and go into detail on a different vlog about my educational choices. There are pros and cons to going through institutionalized education, but I'm not going to go into that now. Anyway, my educational academics is specialized in education, so I look at education as a science, almost as an art form. I'm interested in how education works, how it's governed, how it's implemented, how we think, how we retain, why curriculum is developed the way it is, the history of education, all these things. I have written courses, I have mastered the art of academic writing, I read, and I absolutely love being in a learning and teaching environment. This is what I do. I have become it. It's become a lifestyle. As you can see, my home is half library, half home. Literally, I have an office in my front room. I actually live and breathe education. I have taught across subjects, so this includes English, literacy, numeracy, citizenship, science, to include biology, chemistry, physics. What else have I taught? I mark exams for a well-known education examination board. I have done that for over 10 years. I write courses. But my absolute passion and where I really kind of glow in the classroom is when I deliver business and ICT. I actually come from a business administration background, so before I went and trained to become a teacher, I spent just over 3 years in the industry. I completed my A-levels and then I went and got some skills, so I became a qualified legal administrator. So I learned the ropes of being organised and efficient. I touch type, I audio type. I'm super efficient. I know how to manage diaries, etc, etc. So it's only complemented my skills as a teacher, because for those who teach know that it's not just about standing in the classroom and delivering sessions. There is a heavy reliance on being a good administrator, so to speak, when planning your lessons, filing, And there's a whole administrative routine when you work in places of education, so I've always been really good at that. I strongly advocate business and business skills. I believe it's like the spine of a good, successful society. But I do think it's time to rethink the way business is done. It's time to rethink business practices and the mindset. And I feel on this platform it will be highly beneficial for me to deliver business skills to our young people, with the aim of people becoming self-generators and self-sufficient. My perspectives and philosophy. Okay, this is gonna sound almost cliche, but I strongly subscribe to the notion of education being the absolute key. I believe that through education you can explore yourself, you can work out who you are, and you can almost devise your life's purpose. So I think education is so powerful. Education doesn't just mean going to school and learning. Education has such a wider connotation, which I will be advocating through this platform. I don't believe you need to have degrees to be successful. Definitely not. And academia is not for everybody. But I do believe we must remain open to learning for the rest of our lives. Learning literally is a long life process, and it should never stop. We will never know everything, and we will never understand everything. And again, cliche, but our glasses, our cups should be half full. Qualifications are systematic ways to measure your progress. They're proof of your learning. So for instance, it's necessary when you're going to go out there and apply for certain job roles. It gives you a kind of status, it gives you credentials, and it gives you access to opportunities that this system has put in place. There are pros and cons to having qualifications, and again, I've mentioned it earlier in the video, but I think this is worthy of a whole vlog of its own, so stay tuned. The African diaspora is in desperate need now of innovative, informal and formal methods of learning and education. I believe it needs a curriculum that will empower and motivate, hence why I'm here. I am of no religious background and conform to no religious allegiance, although I have spent years studying other people's religions and respect every single one of them. I've spent time with Christians, I've read the Bible, I've spent time with Muslims, I've read the Quran, I've looked at spiritual systems and even initiated myself into a few of them. Ancient Sanskrit, Buddhism. Trust me, if it's got anything to do with purpose, I've had a dabble. To me, all of them kind of point to the same thing. And if I had to sum it up in one, I'd say love is the answer. Yeah. So that's my philosophy with regarding to religions and spiritual systems. Of course, I cannot miss out the fact that I've spent time with Rastas. I don't like boxes, I don't like labels. I'm just Melissa, I'm just Mz.Rootz, and I know I can only be me, and I can only try being the best type of me. But for the sake of this situation, I feel like I need to define my mindset. I have to kind of remind myself that I'm in a virtual interview here. So for you guys, I'm going to put a few labels on myself. The first label is, I consider myself to be somewhat radical. Radical sounds like such a scary word, but it's actually not. Go check it out. It actually means that I have issues conforming to things that are non-conducive to human progress, things that hinder freedom of speech, freedom of individuality. So I am an absolute radical. I am also a naturalist. So this means that I have a strong connection to the nature. This affects my food, what I put inside my body, how I get clarity, and how I validate things that I just don't understand. To me, all the answers lie in the nature. So I'm an absolute naturalist. I am a reflector, analyzer, so to speak. I question absolutely everything, and I feel like it's our right to. Where there's something that exists, there's your right to question it. And I think that's where education stems. Questions and answers. Because I question everything, I am somewhat a critical thinker. So I am keen, actually, to develop this type of skill in all the students that I interact with. I think it's important for people to think. People need to think for themselves. People need to know how to research and not to just take things as gospel from secondary sources. Like, you have the ability to find out for yourself, and I feel that's empowering and can only make you a better person and just kind of firm up that identity, your purpose, and what it is you're here to do. The last label that I'm going to be putting on myself is the fact that I advocate holistic methods. I believe everything is connected, and to be honest, the nature proves that to us. It constantly reminds us that everything is in relation with everything. So holistic methods are not only practiced by me, but I kind of live holistically, and it's embedded in my teaching style. In fact, all 4 labels that I have put on myself, I believe, strengthen the way I deliver education, and I will continue to have that style on this platform if it's something that you guys show me that you want. Why have I chosen to create this platform? My time in quarantine has been highly reflective. I have questioned my purpose more deeper than I have ever questioned it before, and this boils down to the fact that I've had this time, I've had excess time on my hands, and I've questioned what am I supposed to do with it. Then we had George Floyd's death, George Floyd's murder, and this kind of kicked me into a different gear. It was just such an emotional time, and I'll let you know now that when I saw what I saw the next morning, it did something to me, and I couldn't stop crying. Like, honestly, it was emotional. So I went back into myself and realised that I felt responsible for helping the change. I feel like now more than ever I need to share my skills, knowledge and abilities on a next level. Like, I've got 15 years worth of resources and experience that I need to be putting out there for the betterment of humans and for the betterment of the African diaspora, which I am part of. There are things that I would like to share and develop within this specific population of people, so that we can become better, so that we can become more free, so that we know our purpose and we have a clear, firm stance on our identity and who we are. So here I am. It's time for me to support that progress. I need to shout out, big up Ralph Smart from Infinite Waters, ES from Eat, Love, Migrate, Blacksit and Bag from the Gambia, Wadamaya from Ghana, the Village Boy. Hey, your vlogs have inspired me during this quarantine time, like some next level inspiration, honestly, because you've kept it real and you've also shown me how this platform can be utilized as an education tool. Like, literally just by watching you guys, I've learned so much. I've learned loads. So I've kind of indirectly took that as a sign for me, like, how can I use this platform and embed my skills and turn it into an education tool on the next level. So even though you guys are vloggers, I'm gonna use it for a more formal, structured type education tool, and I hope that we'll network in the future. As I say, you're my YouTube idols, so enough love. I'm conscious that this platform has the ability to generate funds that we can use to create our new provisions that we've designed, a curriculum that we manage and we govern. And when this becomes big, if this becomes of a scale where it's generating funds, I shouldn't say if, I should say when, I strongly advocate the use of positive language. So I'm being a little bit negative here because it's new to me. I've not done this before. It's not been done before, I don't think. So that's where the if comes from. But I can see that there's a niche here, and I just think there's no reason why it shouldn't generate a currency. And when it does, I would be charging forward with new provisions, new education settings, in dialogue with yourselves as to what we're to do next. What do we want to do next? What's going to work? As I says, I cannot know that without you. So that's why this platform, again, is of huge significance, because I want to reach the masses. As I said, I'm testing the waters here. This is the first episode. I don't know what's going to happen. I hope it'll work. I hope I'm good enough. And we'll see. So I'm going to put out the first season and network hard, and let's see what happens. You guys have just got to let me know what you want. Okay, so what should you expect from this first season? Okay, expect formal and informal types of learning. My aim is to develop and design a curriculum that will take into consideration your mind, body and soul. So I want to be developing all three aspects so that you become a whole person. I encourage and will be encouraging self-governance. The whole point of all my courses will revolve around us becoming self-sufficient, self-generators, less dependent upon structures that exist, and tapping into yourself to create your reality. Our curriculum will enable you to start establishing your identity and maybe even your life and divine purpose. The first course that I will be uploading is called Ancient African Studies. I wrote this course in 2012 and it reached a level of success. At the time it was accredited by a well-known examination board. I went out there physically and I delivered it, and there are people out there that hold that qualification, including my children. But I'm going to be doing it different this time. I'm going to be offering this course for free. I'm not going to be out there delivering it. I'm going to be right here delivering it in virtual reality. All the resources will be free. The difference between this African Studies course and others that exist is it was written from a holistic perspective, a holistic approach. So again, that will be the first formal course that I will deliver, and it's designed for anybody who is ready to start thinking critically. Okay, I'm not going to say any more because that's a whole course in itself. I'm going to be recommending to anybody that's serious about developing their minds and their educational abilities that they do the Asian African Studies course first, because what that will do is it will lay a foundation for all the other courses to come, because it should instill a type of purpose, a motivation, and it should raise your aspirations to then go on to anything else that I will be delivering. After that, I will be delivering business preparation courses. So this will include business skills, business theory, ICT, how to use software, all this kind of stuff. As I say, with the intention of you becoming self-sufficient, your own bosses. Yeah, develop your own management styles. I'm also going to be teaching you how you learn, the science of education, like what learning actually means, what happens to the brain when you learn. I'm going to be teaching you how to teach yourself, how to retain information, and also how to pass it on. So that will be key to the platform. I'm also going to be offering support to existing academics. So if you're at school, college or university and you need help with essays or revision, academic skills like how to write a good essay, how to reference, how to motivate yourself when you're going through an education process, then I'll be offering that service also. I'm also going to be offering a type of education consultancy for parents and families, for individuals who need assistance. So I will be giving one-to-one advice, small group advice, and I'll be vlogging advice to people within the diaspora who need help with regards to the education provisions that exist, or education provisions that we are yet to create. Also expect there to be one-to-one and live group sessions, small or big. I think there's power in going live, so I'm going to be kind of testing the waters to see when will be the appropriate time to do that. But also I'll be offering one-to-one tuition for anybody that wants to actually have a one-to-one session and go through a formal course with me, or need one-to-one advice or consultancy. I'll be able to offer that also. I'm going to be sharing all my resources. This includes worksheets, ebooks, handouts, PowerPoints, presentations, documentaries, links. I'm going to be sharing all of that for free. As I said earlier, there's over 15 years worth of resources here, just in drawers, on shelves, on hard drives, on computers, that I'm just going to centralise right here and share. This ranges across subjects from science to Spanish, citizenship, ICT, creative media. Wow. So I'm going to be creating a bank for you to access, with a formal structured guide on how to use this stuff. I'm also going to be sharing with you my personal journey, with the aims of trying to empower you. Like, I'm just a girl from a council estate. I was brought up in a single parent family with my brothers, and I was the eldest, and statistically I shouldn't be here. Statistically, I shouldn't have a first class honours degree. I shouldn't be a teacher. I shouldn't have a master's. And I definitely shouldn't be considering doing a PhD. So I'm going to be sharing with you my journey, especially when I start my dissertation and go on to do the PhD. I just want people to see that we can do this, and the kind of red tape that we're going to have to negotiate, etc, etc. So I think that might be interesting. You let me know what you think. And to expect me to be really open with regards to getting your responses on what it is you would like from an educator in this time for the African diaspora. Like, what do we need to do? Like, how do we do this? I have a huge network, and I can definitely be of assistance. So expect me to continuously question, what do you want? What do you want me to do? What can I do? What would you like to learn? How would you like me to, kind of change things to suit you? Because maybe what I think is right, what I think is cool, may not be actually what you need and what you want. I can definitely suggest though that, based on what's happened currently with the protests and George Floyd's death and Black Lives Matter, all that, this is needed. So I look forward to your comments.